All right, y'all, I am so behind. 5 weeks ahead, don't know her, barely a week ahead. So it's crunch time. A lot has been happening this summer. So, Patreon members, sorry you didn't get this on the day you were supposed to. And to my YouTube audience, you are getting this the day you're supposed to. But I am uncomfortable because it's cutting it very close, and so I will be crunching like no other before to play catch up because it's been quite the summer. I've been very busy with a lot of random things that kept coming up, and so my apologies if I've seemed a little bit scatterbrained for the celebration month, but it's coming to a close. And so now begins the countdown to 1,000, which is insane. Insane. Any guesses on what 1,000 is? I'm taking them down below. Any guesses to what 1,000 is? Anything you'd like to see in this, like, final full year of EDME? Down below. Down below. I want to hear. I want to know. Tell me. Tell me. Okay? Let's get started. Welcome back to Everett is a Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Everett is a Movie Ever. Today I'm going to be talking about Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a 2019 theatrical release about a woman named Carol Danvers who gets powers from an energy core of some kind and is taken and brainwashed by the Kree, and about how she has to learn the truth and embrace her power. It is directed by Annette Boden and Ryan Fleck, cinematography by Ben Davis, editing by Debbie Berman and Elliott Graham, music by Pinar Toprak. And it's written by Annette Boden and Ryan Fleck and Geneva Robertson-Dworet. The film stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, or Veers, or Captain Marvel, whichever any of you want to call her, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Ben Mendelsohn as Talos / Keller, Jude Law as Jan Rog, Annette Bening as the Supreme Intelligence and Dr. Wendy Lawson, and Lashana Lynch as Maria Rambeau. In 2013, there was a script for Ms. Marvel, her name before she becomes Captain Marvel, circulating. Later, the studio showed interest in doing a female-led superhero film. In 2014, Feige said he'd be more interested in a new MCU character with an origin story instead of trying to do like a Black Widow or Peggy Carter or Pepper Potts movie. They released a date for it in 2018. Development had begun. They said they'd look at female filmmakers but couldn't guarantee any filmmaker from a certain demographic. Release date was pushed back for Spider-Man Homecoming, and then they also had originally had Captain Marvel have a little like scene at the end of Age of Ultron, but they decided to cut it until they had like fully figured out who their version of Captain Marvel was going to be. They didn't want to like go out half-cocked or whatever. They looked at a lot of directors. Early writers were both women, Meg LaFauve and Nicole Perlman. And then they both ended up leaving. Meg LaFauve left to direct Gigantic, which is a Disney animated movie that never came to be. And then Nicole Perlman left, but said a lot of the bones that they like put there would remain. The movie got pushed back again for Ant-Man and the Wasp, so then it was moving to a 2019 release, which is obviously when we get the movie. Brie Larson was cast, and she was super hesitant to take the role because this is like post Brie Larson winning an Oscar. Like, she has had quite the career at this point. So she was really hesitant to accept the role, but then what pushed her was it was something she wished she had had growing up, and she was excited about the opportunity of being able to portray that for women. The filmmakers decided that the film would be set in the 90s, which kind of alleviated this whole, like, where does Captain Marvel fit in the current timeline? If all of this happens later and we explain away where she's been, then her showing up where they are now would make a lot of sense. And so it takes place in the 90s, so then they could also do a lot of fun, like, tie-ins and nods and like explain different things that were just like randomly set up already in the universe, and so I think they had a lot of fun doing that. I already said that. Quantum physicists were again consulted, and then Jude Law was originally approached to be Lawson/Marvell, Annette Bening's character, as was Keanu Reeves, who turned down the role. Location shooting began January of 2018, and then principal began March of 2018. They filmed all over California because they got a huge tax credit for filming in California, so that's where they shot on location. They shot, obviously, in studios. The cat Goose was actually a puppet most of the time because Brie Larson is allergic to cats, so they wanted to make sure she wouldn't have a reaction. It was shot on Arri Alexa 65 cameras, and Ben Davis, the cinematographer, had lenses specifically made to fit the newer cameras that had the 90s cameras vibe. They edited using Avid Media Composer, which was a fun piece of information to learn because I know it's between Avid and Premiere at this point in the industry, and I feel like Premiere is just edging out Avid a lot, but Avid's been a staple for a long time. They had 12 VFX companies. Lola VFX is what handled the de-aging, which, again, fantastic. Samuel L. Jackson looks normal and great in this movie. Clark Gregg also looked really good, so that was really fun. The Russo brothers were the ones that directed the mid-credit scene, though, where Captain Marvel shows up after the pager goes off. So they directed that because it'd be leading into Endgame. The film had a $152 to $175 million budget and made $1.131 billion in the box office, which is very good. It's got a 79% Rotten Tomatoes consensus. Packed with action, humor, and visual thrills, Captain Marvel introduces the MCU's latest hero with an origin story that makes effective use of the franchise's signature formula. It does have a sequel, The Marvels, which was released in 2023. At the very beginning, we have orange and teal color scheme show up, which it's been a minute since that was popular, so that was super exciting to kind of see the orange and teal come back. Very fun, very fun. Samuel L. Jackson looked so good. The de-aging here, there was like, for the first half of it, I thought it might have been makeup because none of it looked digitally and fake, how some of the de-aging can look. His face moved naturally. Everything seemed really natural, so I was very blown away. I thought for sure maybe they just did some makeup on him, added some hair, whatever it might have been, but absolutely incredible job. Like I said, these Marvel movies, Ant-Man specifically, usually have had some of the best de-aging I've ever seen digitally. This is by far and away the best to date because we're getting to a point where I couldn't even tell that it was digital on Sam Jackson, which is fantastic. Otherwise, there are some other digital moments of like Brie Larson flying through like the sky and into space fighting, where like her face genuinely looks like rubber. And so, didn't love those. It was weird to have such a dichotomy, or juxtaposition rather. This moves. I didn't have a single moment where I felt bored. It's from point A to point B, story. Didn't really feel like it took any detours that were unnecessary. Score was fantastic during opening sequences, especially like just the score in general. It felt a little bit more standout, which was fun. It wasn't as like generic as a lot of these superhero movies. It had a little bit more of a space plunkiness, I'll say, to it. A lot of the 90s music was fun. I was a fan of that. The I'm Just a Girl sequence, which is like the big sequence where she's unleashed all of her power and can like, kick a bunch of batoot, and she's also learning her own like strength and everything. This sequence, I remember in the theater like weeping because I was just so excited to see a strong woman hero kick absolute tail to a song saying, "I'm just a girl." Like, that was super fun, and I know that's the sentiment of the song. This was pretty controversial. People felt it was like too on the nose, or, a little annoying, or over the top, or whatever, which, whatever, argue with the wall. I don't care about that part. I will say this watch through, which I haven't seen this since I saw it in theaters in 2019. I will say this watch through, I was like ready and anticipating it, and this song started, and I was like, oh, like it feels a little anticlimactic, because the way that song starts is just like the and so it's a little anticlimactic because you think you're gonna have like this big crazy kick butt scene, and the song doesn't like match that super fast vibe, which was a little interesting, but then, like, once the song kicks up and is, like, into the, like, I'm just a girl, like, then it, like, fit a lot better. But the start of that song just, like, felt like a kind of, like, a deflation moment. This watch through. When I first saw this in theaters, like, I'm Just a Girl started, and I think, like, I laughed and was like, oh my god, and then was, like, weeping in the movie theater because I was so excited to see this on my screen. You know, it's her movie, her name's on the movie, she's the main one. Like, it was amazing. And so I think it's interesting that there's a discourse about it, because of course there is, because people hate women. And I don't care about that argument. I care. Like, I came in and was like, oh, this time it just felt a little anticlimactic, but I'm not mad that that's the song. Does that make sense? Because, like, it's great. I think this film is really interesting. I think it's a fun take where she starts on the wrong side just because she's been brainwashed, quite literally, by the Supreme Intelligence, and just the Kree in general. Big yikes to that, by the way. Just like, ooh, that feels a little yucky gross. I'm gonna be so honest. That's a little... Which, you know, Ronan was Kree and trying to take over, like, with Thor and blah, blah, blah. The Skrulls being the good guys... And Ben Mendelsohn's character, Talos, ends up being, like, so funny, obsessed, really great. The propaganda from the Kree, especially with the Supreme Intelligence, it's giving AI. It's giving, spaghetti-o. It's our current life. And then the blockbuster, it's nostalgia bait for sure, but, I don't care. The Coulson reveal, so good. There were multiple moments in this that made me, like, laugh. I know a lot of people think a lot of moments in this are, like, trying to, like, placate to women or be like, haha, get it, girls? Which, like, who cares? And do you know how many frickin' movies go, haha, get it, guys? You know what I mean? Argue with the wall. Let me have it. Like, you know, the whole I'm just a girl sequence, or when the guy's telling her to smile and she steals his motorcycle. Let us have it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Get over yourself. With that, the, like, when she's fighting them and she's having all the snarky comments and the, you know, please don't make me do this. Okay. Like, beats the crap out of him. Is so good. And then a moment I think is really, really powerful and really important is when she doesn't fight Yanrag in hand-to-hand combat and just, like, punches the crap out of him with her power, and then walks up to him and is like, I have nothing to prove to you. Absolutely perfect. Excellent. I love it. I think it's a great message. I think it's wonderful. I think the friendship between Carol and Maria is perfect. To have, like, that moment where Carol is like, I don't know who I am, and then Maria walks up and is like, I do. I know who you are. And, like, starts to tell her things. So powerful. Girlhood. We love to see it. Her little, like, niece, like, immediately being like, this is you here, this is you here, this is you. Like, also so sweet and pure, and I'm obsessed. It's just, like, it's got really good moments, and I think it's powerful for that. Is it the best Marvel movie? No. Is it really good and has a really good message? Yes. Brie Larson is that girl. I know we all know when, like, she pushed the Jeep up the hill. Incredible. She's a beast. She's obviously won an Oscar because she's an excellent actress. She's incredible. I love her. I love how strong she is, because to take on a role like this, she was definitely going to get a lot of hate, and you need quite the backbone and brain for that. And I think she's handled that fantastically. If you haven't been around long enough, I'm sorry for you. I've known Brie Larson since the critically acclaimed 2006 film Hoot, starring her, Logan Lerman, and Cody Lindley, and Luke Wilson. And if you haven't seen that movie, you're missing out. Did I ever read the book? No, I didn't. Did I watch that movie and love Brie? Also, Shout out to Brie Larson in the other critically acclaimed movie, Sleepover, but she's a mean girl in that movie, so I care a little less about her in that one. Is she a mean girl in that movie? No, isn't Sarah Paxton's the mean girl in that movie? Isn't Brie Larson also a mean girl in that movie? Right? Brie Larson's like the one that used to be. Yeah. Oh, Sarah Paxton was the mean girl. No, Brie Larson's definitely in that movie. Okay, so Brie Larson is a mean girl lackey. Brie Larson is a mean girl lackey, 100%. 2004 hit, Sleepover. If you haven't seen it, check it out. 2006 Hoot, though. I should rewatch that. That movie's really good, actually. At least from what I remember. I haven't watched that movie in a while. But if you weren't watching Brie Larson then, you don't deserve to watch Brie Larson. No, I'm just kidding. Watch Brie Larson whatever you want, whenever you want. She's great. And that's what I wanted to say. I think she's great in this. I think she does a really great job. Obviously, she's won an Oscar, so it's not like she ain't no chump or something. And her against Samuel L. Jackson is just good. I think they have really good, like, buddy haha chemistry, if that makes sense, and I liked that. My favorite part is probably just Brie Larson and every opportunity she had to like say F you to the patriarchy and sexism. Really great. My least favorite part, probably how soon she leaves after like finishing. I know she's like coming to like fix all the wrongs she helped contribute to or whatever and finish what Lawson started and help the help the Skrulls find a new home. I get that, but it felt very like, okay, we finished, we ate some food, we hung out for a little bit, and now it's nighttime and I'm leaving. We're like, she could have spent some time, at least a little bit, like getting to know Maria and her niece and like all this kind of stuff. It felt very abrupt, which I get, which like fine, but I don't know. Recommend? Yes. Watch again? Most likely. This is a fun one. Fun things I wanted to mention. 9 Inch Nails is Aubrey's favorite band. We literally last week, for you it'll be 2 weeks ago, saw 9 Inch Nails back to back in Chicago, and great, incredible. I didn't really know who they were before Aubrey and I got together, and now I obviously have had a proper education and was able to actually sing along with songs at the concert and everything like that. But they were a big band in the 90s, or well, they're a big band. They got their like big startup in the 90s, and so this movie taking place in the 90s, Carol, when she steals clothes instead of her suit, she's wearing a grayish white t-shirt that is a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt, and that was like a big deal. The fandom knew about it before the fandom, like their following knew about it before the movie came out. But the fun tidbit that Aubrey pointed out, which is like the nerdiest of the nerd, and I love it, is the shirt she's wearing is technically a bootleg 9 Inch Nails shirt, because in their logo, it's N-I-N, but the last N is backwards, so it's like a mirror. And then it's got a box around it. That's like their standard logo. The box around the letters is always the same weight, meaning like thickness of the font in actual 9 Inch Nails merch. In any bootleg merch, the box is either thicker or the letters are always thicker, vice versa, whichever it might be. And so in the movie, it's a bootleg t-shirt, which, like, the filmmakers got permission from 9 Inch Nails to use the logo and have her wear the shirt and everything, but then they, like, further got permission for it to be a bootleg one, because what she steals is from some random boutique, which would have 100% been selling a bootleg 9 Inch Nails shirt. So that's, like, the most niche information about this shirt, but it was really funny, and I thought that was great. So I wanted to share the little nerddom about the 9 Inch Nails shirt. I thought it was fun and interesting that they went so far, like they did a bootleg one on purpose, but still had 9 Inch Nails permission, which is super fun. That's all I have for Captain Marvel. My final rating will be 7. I didn't think about this. Maybe lunchboxes? 7 lunchboxes out of 10. Our total movie count is. Parent death toll and cry count are still the same. There's no parent deaths or cry counts mentioned anywhere, I don't think, actually. Well, there's no cry count. I didn't freaking cry, but then I came close. But there's no parent death. I don't think anyone's parents are mentioned, actually. Which, interesting. Okay. Until next time. No. What? If you want to keep up with the movie and watch it, follow me on all socials and check out my website. Go look at it. Join Patreon. Got a tier starting at just $1. You get every video a week early. Tiers with that, daily trivia, bonus content, monthly postcards, merch, signed merch, etc. Go check it out. Buy merch. Merch is great. Merch is grand. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and I'm not in charge of your life. You are studio, and don't be Yanrag Ronan about it. The Cree suck.